It's a really good looking car. Hard to believe only 82 were built like it. We're going to tell you all about it. Picture, if you will, you're 25 years old, gasoline is 40 cents a gallon, and you just bought this awesome 1972 Pontiac Firebird Formula 455 HO 4-speed. Now jump ahead almost 5 decades, and nearly the same car appears in your garage. Well, for owner Garry Heizer, this isn't the Twilight Zone, it's his daily reality. While Heizer did buy one brand new, this pristine 72 isn't his old car, as his was the one that got away. But he was lucky enough to find a twin to transport him back in time. Being a Firebird Formula, this is not the high-option Trans Am with all the bells and whistles. The dashboard has wood grain instead of that engine turn panel the Trans Am had. And this car does not have very many options at all. There's no air conditioning, there's no radio, crank up windows, but it does have tilt wheel, which is nice. So what is a Firebird Formula anyway? Racers have long known what a sleeper is, a car that has a hot engine and suspension, but no options to add weight and slow it down, and no fancy stripes to call attention to itself. In 1970, Pontiac built a factory Firebird Sleeper, if you will, called the Formula. Visually, it was the opposite of the flashy Trans Am, but it had all the same performance goodies on board, less the creature comforts. This stunning blue 1972 version is jammed with low-key fun, including the 455 HO engine, a 4-speed Muncie M22 Rock Crusher transmission, and a safety track limited slip rear with 342 gears. To make the look even more sleepy, this one came stock without spoilers and rolling on steel wheels and caps, but Heizer swapped on the Rally II wheels to match the car he had back in the day. But don't worry, the original steel wheels and caps are still with the car. This 455 HO looks pretty bare bones, but it's got all the right parts in all the right places. Starting with the functional cold air intake on that dual snorkel air cleaner, sitting on top of a performance Rochester Quadrajet carburetor, on top of an aluminum intake manifold, which is bolted to a pair of round port F6 Pontiac cylinder heads, exiting through free flow exhaust manifolds. Yep, this HO is all about moving the air. This 455 HO with the functional ram air hood is definitely all you'd expect when it comes to producing a lot of torque and a good amount of power, even though the compression ratio is dropped for 1972 down to 8.4 to 1. They still rated this at 300 net horsepower, so using the horsepower ratings of the day of changing things to net from gross, it still made good power for 1972. The next thing I noticed about driving this car is, although it has the Y99 performance suspension package, it feels like a bigger car than it is. This one has a 1 1/4 inch front sway bar, 7/8 inch rear bar. It's got heavier springs and performance shocks, and then the raised white letter tires. But Even with the beefed up suspension, it's still a little soft on the highway, but projecting back into 1972, this thing was probably one of the better handling cars you could buy. Only 82 72 Formula 455 HO M22 4-speeds were ever built, and part of that was due to a massive United Auto Workers labor strike at the Lordstown GM and Fisher body plant. The plant had boasted new technology that allowed cars to be built nearly twice as fast as traditional plants, to the tune of 100 per hour over the previous 55 per hour. And while the machines were screaming along, the workers didn't think it was too keen to have to do their 60-second tasks in just 33 seconds to keep up. The strike was one of the first to consider a worker's quality of life and not just pay and benefits. The downside for GM is that there were over 35,000 fewer Camaros, Firebirds, and Vegas built for 72. Well, maybe it wasn't so bad to have less Vegas in the world. Today, our friend Garry drives this beautiful brute whenever he can. And it takes him right back to his days behind the wheel of his first 72 Formula 455 HO 4-speed car. Not many of us get the chance to own a one of 82 built muscle car, much less two identical twins in our life. But life is good in the Heizer zone. We're just happy he let us play with it for a bit, and the only question remains: steel wheels with caps or Rally IIs? What would be on your magic formula? This rare Ram Air Formula 455 proves that Pontiac performance was far from over in 1972. And if you want, go check out our YouTube channel, because we can show you what happened to Pontiac performance in 73 and 74 as well, as they continued to develop the F-body platform. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe to our channel, because we've got a few more tricks up our sleeves as well on Muscle Car of the Week.